Dead silence.
Hi guys, we're talking today about what to do when you're not making money in your business but you think you're doing everything right.
Keyword, think. You're doing everything right.
Definitely. Business is I also always think of business as a series of lessons, and I think about it in terms of systems. So you try, you get results, you see what happens, what works you keep, what doesn't work you drop, and you keep moving forward. But a lot of people just listen to gurus all the time, and they say, well, this person is doing newsletters and they're doing Facebook ads and they're making $10 million a year. That's what I want, so that's what I'm going to do. So then you start doing that and you're kind of like, this is not working for my business. There are lots of reasons why. We're going to cover a couple today and
really quickly.
really quickly. But as you know, you can always leave your questions and comments and we'll be able to get back to you with even more advice. So one of the reasons why you may not be making the money in your business is because you're looking at someone in a completely different niche. So if you are a health coach, you really shouldn't be watching an internet marketer to see the best way to build your brand. There are ideas and techniques that you can use and borrow, but ultimately you have to create your own system that works for your unique clientele. And I always tell people, look at what makes your customer become a customer. And it's not their age, their stats, where they live, how much money they make. It is the decisions that they make before they come to you. So I've decided that I want to get pink hair. When I make that decision, then I start looking at what color should I choose? Who's the best stylist? How can I take care of my hair? So when you're creating content, you have to think about those things that your customer is really looking for and asking for and operate in that level.
That's really true. And then another thing that I've noticed is that when people look to said gurus or people that they look up to, not necessarily a guru, they are looking in a light that they aren't really critical about their implementation of what said guru is doing. For example, and I'm coming from the vantage point of a graphic designer, yeah, you went because we've seen it too many times where, you know, your guru has made a YouTube video, for example, and you know they're in a studio, they've done what they've done and it looks really professional, and you say, you know what, YouTube marketing is where it's at and I want to do that. So you put up your YouTube video. However, I can't see your face because it's dark. You're in your living room, and I know you're in your living room because your couch has clothes on it. And then, like, there's a random bush in the background, and I'm hearing your kid crying in the back. That is not, although you've made a YouTube video, that is not the same. And the same goes with the actual graphic content, say your ads on your site. You could tell which was professionally designed and which was botched. And I use the word botched intentionally. It was completely botched. You look at it and you hurl. You can tell when someone has faked something before you hire them. So why would you try and do that yourself? Doesn't make any sense. There's a disconnect, and you need to maintain a certain quality standard with whatever you're doing.
Consistency. You're really talking about brand here, and brand is so powerful. Like, if you have a brand that looks broke, poor, shoddy, thrown together, your customers are not going to take you seriously. You could be doing everything right. You could have a great Facebook header, you can have all your keywords, have a brilliant site.
But you can have a great product and all.
Yeah, then I get to your site and I'm like, geez, what's up with that?
Yeah,
like,
I completely mistrusted from the beginning. It's just like when you see, it's just like when you see, you know, when you've just bought something online, and then somehow you got an urge to check them out on Google, and then you find out that they're some kind of small country, they're a small company that just started in the middle of Nigeria, and then you go, like you're just not, you've suddenly created doubt, whereas before you're ready to just completely purchase, because they hid certain things behind a gloss, or certain things that didn't match the brand started popping up. You started to mistrust and then started to research more, and researching more, not really to find anything more, but more to find a reason why you don't like it anymore. You're looking for an excuse not to buy. That's what happens when your customer starts to research again, and that is something that you are doing wrong.
Well, another thing I want to add is the whole concept of creating a product you don't really care about. and being in business just to make money. So money is wonderful. I love money. You love money?
I love money.
It's great. But you gotta have some energy behind it. You gotta love what you do and love who you're serving and really connect with those people. And I'm not talking about in a whole woo-woo heart center type of way. I'm talking about real connection where people understand that you're solving a problem. And you're solving a problem that's a real problem, not a manufactured problem. Alright, so the action points for this are: don't act like a know-it-all. Make sure that you research and make sure that you use your research as it applies to your industry and not as it applies to other people's industries. Stop looking at what other people are doing and really focus on what you know that has been working for you and keep taking action consistently in that direction. The other thing I want to tell you is to make sure that your product is something that clearly communicates what the benefit to your customer is. So if you are selling band-aids, make sure you say, it prevents the blood from a wound bleeding all over the place. Like, if I have a cut, I want a band-aid. So you have to really sell solutions and not just sell things that sound kind of nice. Because at the end of the day, even if it's something like that isn't a necessity, like a piece of jewelry, it's going to make her feel like a princess. Hello?
Always talk about the benefits. Is it the benefits, not the features?
Yes.
Always talk about the benefits, not the features. But that is another video for another day. Woo.
Yeah, well, we'll be talking about this a lot more in the coming videos, so just stay tuned to our channel, add your comments below, and let's really talk about how we can build your business.
Alright, guys. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.